话筒连接成功。
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, teacher.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
And me? Actually, I'm not feeling that well.
Why?
Yeah, that's what I would like to talk about. It is June the 4th. Yes? And in the lunar calendar, it is the 5th month. In the lunar calendar. What does this mean? Yes, exactly. The 5th month in the lunar calendar is the most vicious month of the year. During this month, the evil forces start to grow, yeah. Even no matter the good people or the bad one, they will get attacked indiscriminately by the evil forces of this month. Even the upright person, Qu Yuan, right, threw himself into the Milo River and died. And that's why we celebrate the Dragon Boat Festival. People try to rescue the upright, the good people. Right? Good. Isn't it a coincidence that the graduation season also occurs in this month? Right? Graduation month. No matter how deep your affection is, lovers and friends part ways and shedding tears on campus. At this time of next year, you will be graduating, right? And you will have to face this time. Yeah. Actually, for this month, there is a hexagram. There is a hexagram that stands for this 5th month in the lunar calendar. It's called this is a vicious, something vicious. And it's like this. It's composed of the heaven, and the wind. You know, this is the vicious part. It's starting to grow. This is something about the traditional Chinese culture I'd like to share with you. Okay. What does this tell us? This is vicious. How do we deal with it? It's a good reminder for those good people it's very, very important to cultivate our kind intentions. Kind intentions. Only with a good heart can a person act persistently. With a good heart, can a person act persistently and eventually achieve success? We need to try to change these two broken lines into a single line, which represents the yang, yao, and this represents the yin, yang. Okay, let's, what happened to me? Because of this vicious force, I caught, yes, a migraine. It's not just an ordinary pain, ache in my head. It's a migraine. And it appears strange. Everything's normal. But that afternoon, maybe the day before yesterday, something, I don't know, just invade or intrude into my body. And suddenly I got this migraine, especially after the COVID-19. After the infection of COVID-19, my body gets vulnerable. And I'm becoming sensitive to those sudden change. Okay, now let's come back to our content about WTO law. Okay. In the previous sections, we've talked about several exception rules. What are they? What are they? General exceptions. Yes? Good. General exceptions. General exceptions for trading goods. That's in section 1. And general exceptions for trading services. That's section 2. And what else? What is section 3 about? Section 3 is about the national and international security. Very good. There's an important question is, who is the person that will decide what the essential interests are? Who is the person to decide whether there is an essential security interest? Who decides? Essential security interest. Who decides? It's up to the country itself to decide whether there is an essential security interest. Yes? Good. But there is a rather important limitation to that. Actually, the panel also has the right to decide whether there is an essential security interest. It's not the sole discretion of the country. Not the sole discretion of the country involved. The panel also has the right. Okay. Now let's come to section 4, the exceptions for safeguard measures, safeguard measures. I think this safeguard measures is something we are familiar with, right? We talked about it in the course of general theory on IEL. Yeah. Safeguard measures is a brother of anti-dumping measures and countervailing measures, right? Good. But why would we put the safeguard measures here in the exception part? In the exception part. Why? Because it is an exception. Okay. And it belongs to the category of economic emergency. Economic emergency. Then my next question is, what is included in economic emergency? There are two kinds of measures. The first type is safeguard measures. The other type is balance of payment measures. These two measures constitute the economic emergency. Economic emergency. Okay. Then what are safeguard measures? What are safeguard measures? Look here. Article 19 of the GATT 1994 and the Agreement on Safeguard Measures allow members to adopt otherwise WTO inconsistent measures, referred to as safeguard measures, in situations, what kind of situations? In situations where a surge in imports, a surge in imports causes or threatens to cause serious injury to the domestic industry. For example, China, during a period of time, the imports to China has a surge. The imports has a surge in China. Then at this time, China can adopt an otherwise WTO inconsistent measures. What does this word mean, otherwise? Otherwise WTO inconsistent measures. You know, this is a provision on exceptions to justify those inconsistent measures. What if these measures are justified? Then they are not inconsistent. They are consistent. And that's why we use these words otherwise here. Because once the measures are justified, these measures will become consistent. And that's why we use otherwise here. Otherwise inconsistent. It means once we make the measures justified, the measures will become consistent. I'll explain it again. Otherwise can be translated as if the measures are not justified according to this provision. Again, otherwise means if the measures are not justified according to this exception rule. Okay. Another important question is, Are safeguard measures provided for in GATS? GATS. Yes or no? Actually, no. Because safeguard measures are only about goods, products. So they are not provided for in GATS. Okay. Next question. What are the interests to be balanced for the agreement on safeguard measures? Not provided for under GATS. Next page. What are the interests? What are the interests to be balanced for the agreement on safeguards? Okay, on the one hand, it's the right of a member to apply safeguard measures. And on the other hand, it is the need to protect the multilateral integrity of the ongoing trade concessions. That's the two conflicting interests. Okay. Okay, how many categories of rules are there? Here. How many categories of rules that apply to safeguard measures? There are 3 types. The first type is substantive requirements. The second one is procedural requirements. And the third type is about the form, extent, and duration of safeguard measures. Okay. I hereby give you a hint. All the short answer questions, or most of the short answer questions, are composed of 3 points. 3 points. Which means you need to find at least 3 points to finish almost all the short answered questions. In the final exam, there will be 5 short answered questions, which means we've got 15 points in total. And there will be 5 explanation of nouns. Also 3 points for each. So that would be another 15 points. Pay attention to this. 3 points. 3 points. So apparently for this thing, it can be a short answered question. Right. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. A perfect question for a short answered question. And on the evening of yesterday, I leaked rather important information about the essay type question. What does this mean? Essay type question means it costs 20 points. Just one question. It needs your elaboration in depth. That's why it costs 20 points. And there are 5 single choice questions. Single choice questions. Okay. Each costs 2 points. And there are 20 True or false questions? True or false questions? 1 point for each. 20. 20 statements. Oh, what's missing? Yeah. We've got gap-filling questions. Gap-filling questions. Yeah. 20 points. 10 blanks. 10 blanks, each blank. 2 points for each blank. 2 points for each blank. 2 points for each blank. Because of this, 3 points, 3 points. This is a perfect short answered question. Like this. 1, 2, 3. The 12 sentences you also need to memorize. You still got there? In the WeChat group. Okay, now let's come back to our content. Due to the limited time, we won't elaborate on the specific rules on safeguard measures anymore, and it will be left for your self-study after class. The content of these rules is similar to that of anti-dumping rules we previously discussed, which have also been explored in detail in the course of the general theory on IEL. Okay. Then let's talk about BOP measures, balance of payments measures, BOP. BOP measures. You know, for the true or false questions, all the statements come from the questions I sent to you before the class, the day before class. Got the memory? All the statements come from the questions I sent to you the evening before the class. I mean on Tuesday, yes. Each Tuesday. Because it's 20 statements, right? 20 statements. Doesn't matter, you need to translate all the questions because they are with the answers, right? Translate them into Chinese and try to understand them and then make your judgments, okay? True or false?
然后填空题是选词填空还是自己填？
I picked the blanks.
那意思相似可以吗？
Of course, yes. All the gap-filling questions come from the 12 questions I sent to you last night. And that's why I suggest you to memorize that.
I want the Chinese.
I will try my best.
Only 12 questions. Is that too many?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very.
A little.
12 sentences. If you want to learn English well, recite something, memorize something. That's a basic requirement. 12 questions, not that easy, not that too many, only too few for you. But the acid type question is rather difficult.
说什么呢？
还有个句子也是题。
Yeah, the gap filling questions come from those 12 sentences. Okay, let's move on. You're only interested in these things. Okay, then next question. How many types can BOP measures be divided into? How many types can BOP measures be divided into? Here, 2 types. The first type is quantitative restrictions. The other type is price-based measures. Originally, I put this sentence on the paper, but later I removed it because it's 4 points, 2 points, 4 points. Never mind, I already removed it. Now let's move on to the next part. This is something not that important. This part is rather important. It's about regional trade agreements. How many types can regional trade agreements be divided? How many types? And what is the relationship between RTAs and PTAs? Are these two the same? Actually, they are the same. RTAs equal PTAs. Then why would we use 2 technical terms to express basically the same thing? Give me some examples of RTAs. What are RTAs? What about this one? NAFTA. Now already replaced by USMCA. United States, Mexico, and Canada. North American Free Trade Area. RCEP. Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. It includes the ASEAN and China, Japan, and Korea. Yeah, this one, ASEAN. Yeah, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Southeast Asian Nations Association. All these belong to RTAs. Yeah, and they can also be called the PTAs. What does PTA mean? Preferential trade agreements. Preferential. Preference. What's the difference between these two? Look here. Originally, these groups of members comprise the countries in the same region. For example, the NAFTA. All the 3 members come from North America, right? North America, good. But nowadays, what about this one? RCEP. All the countries, all the members come from one same area? No. Because 10 countries from Southeast Asia and 3 countries from East Asia, right? China, Japan, Korea, right? But in different regions. Under this circumstance, we call it PTA. They are from different regions, okay? And that's why we call them PTA. From different regions. Hence the use of the term preferential trade agreement. And also, I forgot a rather important one. It's called the TPP, right? Now it's called the CPTPP. And there's another one, it's called TTIP. Is TTIP an RTA or a PTA? TTIP stands for transatlantic. What does transatlantic mean? Yeah, good. This is the usual Asian continent, and this is the American continent. And the transatlantic trade and investment partnership. So it's also a PTA, right? It's a mega regional. Mega regional trade agreement. Big, mega, stands for big, a big regional. What are the legal consequences of RTAs? We've already got the WTO agreement, a multilateral agreement, right? Then why would we need these regional trade agreements? Don't you think these RTAs are in violation of the multilateral agreements, of the WTO agreement? I think yes. Because in WTO, everything is discussed under the framework of a multilateral one. And under these RTAs do harm to the WTO agreement. Do harm. They are in conflict with each other. Then why would the WTO agreement allow for the existence of these ones? And that's why we call them exceptions. Exceptions to what? Exceptions to the multilateral agreement. And that's why we call them exceptions, okay? They are all exceptions to the multilateral WTO agreement. Only a small group of countries, they together form a small group, right? And these 5 students form a small group. And that 3 students form a small group. Yes, small groups, countries. And between them, between the members of RTAs, they share news, share money, share everything, and keep others away from their secret information. Do you think that's a good thing to the whole class? Actually, there's something good to that kind of group. It's something good. Why not? Can these 3 girls form an alliance? There are secrets between these 3 girls, never shared with you. What's the harm? No harm, right? As long as the secrets does not do harm to the whole class, it's okay. Zero tariff, 0 barriers. zero tariff, zero barriers. 零关税，零壁垒。And what else? Yeah, no discrimination. But only between the members of the RTAs. Others will be discriminated. For example, Xi Yixiang will be discriminated against by these three girls. They will not share their secret information with you. And I think that's reasonable. There is no tariff, no barrier, no discrimination between these three members. Also something good, right? Because there is an integration between those three members. But if you want to form an RTA, not that easy. You must satisfy some strict requirements before you establish an RTA. There are requirements. What are the requirements? What are the requirements that must be fulfilled for the use of the exceptions for RTAs set out in Article 24 of the GATT 1994 and Article 5 of the GATT? There's only one requirement. Listen, the requirement is like this. The requirement that RTAs create more trade than they divert. More trade than they divert. Which means these three girls, the form of these three girls generate more good than bad to the whole class. Generate more good than bad. Generate more trade. Generate more trade than they divert. What does divert mean? Trade diversion. Trade diversion. 贸易转移. How does that happen? I'll give you an example. For example, I use you as an example. Okay. Xi Yixiang would like to be good with Jiang Yanan. I mean, zero tariff, zero.
I want to sell my product.
Yeah, sell products to Jiang Yanan. Zero tariff, zero barriers, and no discrimination. But Zhu Nan and Jia Yizhen do not want those products. But between these three, there are zero tariff, zero barriers, zero discrimination. And that's a trade diversion. If Xi Yixiang wants to sell products to Zhu Nan with zero tariffs, first, he traded the goods. He sold the goods to Jiang Yanan first. And between these three members, there are zero tariff. Then that's a trade diversion. Yes. That will break the alliance between these three members, right? Currently, this happens, yes. In reality, this happens because there is a surge in Chinese exports to the Southeast Asia. And then those goods will re-enter to the United States. That's also a trade diversion, right? Trade diversion. more trade than they divert, more good than bad. That's allowed. Only under that circumstance, RTAs are allowed. Also a little bit difficult, but you can always review them after class, okay? Let's first take a 5-minute break. We'll come back later.